Maybe I missed it, but NFL Network is where I'm seeing it. Cecil, Broncos country, what kind of game is this going to be? Do the Broncos have to hang with the Bengals, score on pretty much every single possession? Are they even capable of doing that? What kind of game do you think this is going to look like?
Well, you asked if they're capable of it. Didn't the Chargers game look like that?
Yeah, it did.
I mean, they were rolling.
And we thought it was going to be the opposite of.
Right. And so in that game against that defense, which is a much better defense than the Cincinnati defense, yeah, but it's weather. It's weather that keeps it's the cloud that's hanging over this matchup. You've got to put up points to beat Joe Burrow. Duh. But their defense is terrible outside of one player. But their defense, you can push around all day long. Well, how do you do that when you're an offense that's just trying to find its own way? You're an offense that is trying to figure out if you can run the ball consistently. Who is that? Will they keep it up? Will Sean Payton insist on that? Or will they have a couple of bad run plays and then he just ditches the run? So for me, this game comes down to two people, and it's not the two people that you think. It comes down to Sean Payton and Vance Joseph.
Wow.
What kind of game plans do you have? This doesn't really have anything to – we know Bo can play. We know they can score. We know that Estime could do more if you wanted him to. We know that Courtland Sutton can catch balls. We know the offensive line can block really well. We know defensively Pat Surtain is tough to get at. We know that Justin Sternad, if he's out there, is going to be a target by Joe Burrow, so watch out for that. But what kind of game plan do you have? That's the largest question, because you can't go in with your gloves down in this one because these guys will knock you out.
And, I mean, you look at some of these stats, it's even the numbers tell you the story of the Bengals being such a good offense and a terrible, terrible defense. They score 28 points a game and give up 26. They've allowed 47 touchdowns and scored 50 touchdowns. They've allowed 393 points. This is a little bit different, and have scored 423 points. So as good as their offense is, their defense is equally as bad.
Right.
Outside of Trey Hendrickson,
right,
who you're talking about, and he leads the league in sacks right now. But even a guy like Trey, one, Bo's ability to understand I got to get rid of the football in a timely manner and not take a sack and hurt us even more playing behind the sticks.
Right.
But two, it's something that I've actually come around throughout the course of the season, thanks to you, about this offensive line. They're fine. They're more than fine. They're perfectly capable of holding their own against Trey Hendrickson and then everybody else. Like, Trey's the star. They present some problems interiorly, but I look at this as still advantage Broncos offensive line.
Yeah, advantage Broncos because Trey's the guy. Yeah, double team him, chip him. Make sure you have a second body on him, whether that's
Adam Troutman's
Troutman.
there every time.
Right, I was going right with Troutman. Like, he's there every time, and it works 60% of the time. I don't know, but whatever that number is, you've got ways around that. And then if you run the ball, his pass rush matters less. Now, he is a player. I remember Trey Hendrickson when he came out of FAU, and I saw him down at the Shrine Bowl in Tampa. And I was like, this is a guy the Broncos need to pick. It was 2017 draft. And I was like, this is a guy that looks like Derek Wolfe. I was wrong. He's way better than Derek.
Wow.
Don't get mad at me, Derek. But, like,
and Derek was a good Bronco.
He was
now.
a damn good Bronco. But Trey Hendrickson has become better and better. It doesn't matter if it's with New Orleans, who drafted him. Always the forgotten player in that draft, because people say, oh, they had the 3 picks. They had 4 picks. They had Marshawn Lattimore. They had Ryan Ramczyk. They had Alvin Kamara. They had Trey Hendrickson, all out of one draft.
Damn.
One draft. So, Mickey Loomis, good job. You got a gold star on that one. Hendrickson is still a problem to this day. You can't say that about many veteran pass rushers that are, kind of getting along the way he is almost a decade into his career. So, yeah, one guy, handle him, and Bo Nix can do that, but your run game can do that. Mm-hmm. It just takes him out of his element. If he's running around the corner and you've already handed off the ball and your back has timing and speed, whether it's Jaleel McLaughlin out there or maybe Blake Watson or whoever, you're just running away from Hendrickson, literally running away from him.
Right. I mean, man, if what the weather is what it's supposed to be, and it's what did I say earlier? 87% chance of rain.
It's up to 90 now.
Windy, up to 90 now. It's going to be cold. I mean, if this isn't a run-first football game, I don't think I'm going to lose all confidence that Sean will ever figure it out.
Yeah.
This is it, Cecil. Everything is literally, the writing is on the wall, and maybe on his play sheet again this week. But whether to counter a guy like Trey Hendrickson, to just attack that defense, obviously what I'm going to state here is a part of the conversation. But you keep Joe Burrow off the field, you keep that defense on the field to get them tired. Well, there's only one way to do that. You have to be successful running the football.
Yeah.
This is Sean Payton. He doesn't do this. All benefit of the doubt with Sean Payton is gone for a very long time with me.
Yeah, and we have benefit of the doubt to get with Vance Joseph as well. We'll get there eventually because Audric Estime should be your answer. With the rain, you put on your mud tires, and you kick up that mud, and you just keep kicking it up. That's Audric Estime. He's the back with the power. He's the back that you can lean on. He's the back that you can grind down an opponent with. Joe Burrow is going to be cold on the sidelines if you have 12-minute drives. Joe Burrow's not going to be able to light your ass up because he's over there sipping Gatorade or has the jacket on trying to stay dry.
Yeah.
He can't affect you if Audric Estime, honestly, your best defender this week is Audric Estime. Because if you're running the ball with Estime effectively, then it doesn't matter what their offense can score in 3 plays. Great.
Yeah.
We're going to get the ball for 10 minutes. They're not going to have the rock. If you essentially play keep away from them and in a weather game, this is a playoff game. You still aren't in the playoffs. Colts are still alive. The Bengals are still alive.
Yep.
You got to win this to get in. You can do that by running the ball.
100%. I love this text. I wish you would have thrown your name on here. We give you a shout out, 720-201. It better be a hefty dose of Estime, and then you let Bo cook in the play action, which we, again, have talked about over and over again. But he being Sean, abandons the run so quickly that play action is not a legitimate threat in quarters 3 and 4 because the defense knows what we all know sitting at home in our underwear. Well, that's how I watch. That Sean doesn't really want to run the ball. So that play action fake, there's no real commitment to that. The linebacker can still play on his heels knowing that it's not a real commitment to the back.
You watch in your underwear, huh?
Yeah.
I watch football wearing nothing but a captain's hat and a coin changer.
There's a good image for all of our listeners.
It's an old joke, but it's still a good one. Yeah, and it's come down to Sean Payton. Where's your wherewithal? Where's your consistency, stick-to-itiveness? That type of mindset of like, I'm just going to keep running and I know it'll break eventually because they can be broken. Their defense clearly can be broken, but you're the one that has to do it. You're not just going to show up and play great football. You have to dictate. Football is about taking your opponent's will from them. You can do that with Audric Estime, provided that Sean Payton wants to do it that way. And Sean, you want to go to the postseason, right? You may want to fill the air with footballs and pass all day, but the weather, this opponent, means that a different game plan needs to be in order.
100% with you. And then as far as running backs go, you and I both believe it should be Audric Estime. Now, will it be? Who knows? And then the other elephant in the room is, all right, who's after that? Is it like who loses reps because it's Audric Estime? Is it Jaleel or is it Javonte? I think both of us want it to be Javonte, but I don't have any confidence in saying that.
No.
I can't sit here and tell Broncos country like, yep, Javonte's lost his spot because I felt that way 3, 4, 5 different times this year, and then the next game I see him out there running the football.
Yeah, and Sean stubbornly sticks with him because of pass protection. Like, Estime can't be that bad at pass protection. By the way, it's a tell when he's on the field now. I didn't get a chance to talk to Joe Lombardi this week, but it's something that I talked to him last year about Jaleel McLaughlin. When McLaughlin was on the field, 83% of the time he got the ball. When Estime's on the field, they're running, and it's about a 75% clip.
Wow.
So you know it's going to go to Estime. You know it's going to be a run, and that's 3/4 of the time out there. That's a tell. You got to let the kid pass block. And Bo gets rid of the ball quickly. So as long as it's not some sort of multiple blitz, which it may be, you're going to trust Estime to chip on Hendrickson or to take him out, to work with the right tackle, like whatever the answer is, you've got to have that answer because right now I see Estime as an opponent, and I know they're running the ball. They're not passing when Estime's out there.
We talked about the rain and that being a big issue as we saw it back in week 4 in New York City where the offense was bad. Bo only had 60 yards passing. His day that day was 20 for 25, 60 yards passing. Did have a touchdown there in the second half, but it did not look pretty by any means. He did not pass the eye test that day, but Sean believes there'll be a difference in this game versus what that rain game in New York was.
The difference is, now we'll see how the forecast projects, but, we didn't have a strong indication of rain, and, all of a sudden, it showed. So hopefully the preparations this week will be ready for it. Obviously the biggest thing is the balls. Is it actively raining during the game? And if it is, how are the officials covering those are all things you have to deal with. And then you also have to deal with how that might impact your play calling and what you're doing schematically in all three areas.
All right, so he's saying we didn't know it was going to rain in New York City there back in week 4. I find that hard to believe. But now they do, and it's going to change. I love that he said it's going to change your play calling. Well, we freaking hope so.
Yeah.
Because it better change your play calling. Clearly, if you can't throw the ball because of weather, well, then you have to run the damn ball.
Yeah, and keep running it. That's the thing. Like, I know they will, but I'm just afraid with Sean Payton that it won't work one time and then he'll stop. And he'll take his ball and he'll go home. And it doesn't matter what the play sheet says, with the camera zoomed in that offends him or whatever. Like, dude, keep running the ball. I want Estime to have 20 carries. I was dancing around it last week. Like, can he get like 15 carries? No, I'm going to put the number at 20. This is the type of game where he needs that workload. You got to get ready for the postseason. And I don't care if Kansas City's going to lay down next week or not. That had better not be on your mind. If you're part of the Denver Broncos, and I don't care if it's staff or if it's the coaches or if it's players, if you're thinking, well, hey, we got to win one more to get in, right? That's all they have. They got 2 games left. They have to win one, and they're in, period, point blank, period. Mm-hmm. You had better not be thinking Kansas City's going to lay down, because you know what Kansas City might do? Hey, let's keep Denver out of the playoffs. Let's just go to their place and beat them, and let's beat them with Carson Wentz.
Ugh,
they could do that.
Gross.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we hadn't got too deep into that, but yeah, that's what's on the schedule after this game coming up on Saturday is a team that doesn't really need to play in that game, except for maybe just to play spoiler and ruin a rookie season of Bo Nix.
Did that kind of creep into your mind when you watched the Chargers game? Because there was just this lack of sharpness or adjustment in the second half where it's like, oh, these guys feel like they're playing with house money. You're not even there yet.
Right.
You're not in the postseason. You've got to get to the postseason. And they acted in the Chargers in the second half like, oh, we don't get this one. We got 2 more. Times Martin Lawrence, someone else got your time.
Yeah, it gets late early if that's your mindset.
Yep.
And I hope that is not the mindset for the Broncos. By the way, speaking of running the football, I just wanted to go back and look at that Chargers game, which doesn't that seem like 5 weeks ago at this point? It was a week ago today. They ran the ball 7 times on their first drive and ended in a touchdown. 14 more attempts the rest of the way. So you go 7 rushes on your opening drive that led to a touchdown, and you look maybe the best you'd look all season offensively. I guess the Tampa Bay first drive, you can kind of give them that too because they went and scored immediately.
Sure.
But then you only rushed it 14 more times. And Sean Payton has the nerve to tell us that we got it wrong? Unbelievable with that dude. You got it wrong, Sean. And the numbers tell me that. Men lie, women lie, head coaches lie, numbers don't, right? And the numbers tell me you got it wrong, Sean.
Yeah, you got to run the ball, Sean, and you got to keep running the ball. And when it's working, you don't need to go away from it. You don't need to open the playbook. You need to boil this thing down, simplify it. We're gonna run like 5 plays, and we're going to keep running it. And then you do like you do in Madden. Just switch the side. Just press RT. Now run it the different direction. Like, Sean is so excited to get into his playbook, he almost ignores what's working. You don't have to get deep in your playbook. You don't have to show him how smart you are. You discovered electricity. Everybody knows that. What you need to do is simplify this thing. Get in the damn postseason. That means running the ball.
Well, he said this week that the number's now 10. That's what he's writing on. Get to 10. If you're not going to run the ball, next message is get to 10. He's assuming you get to the 10, then you've punched your ticket to the postseason. So maybe that is the emphasis on this game. We got to win this game, so the emphasis has to be on running the football because of weather and what it looked like a week ago. But like I said, I'm having a hard time giving Sean Payton benefit of the doubt anymore.
Yeah.
How many times am I going to let the same guy burn me over and over and keep running back to him?
How many times are you going to let Vance Joseph?
Yeah, fair, dude. I can't ignore him either. I'm glad you keep bringing him up because you said it. Last 4 games, what has the Broncos defense been? 31st?
31st.
That is not good enough.
Yeah, with the talent that they have, we can't simply say, oh, they lost Riley Moss. That's one guy. One guy. A very important guy. A fan favorite, to be sure, but like that can't affect your entire season. You can't let these teams get after you in the way that you've been gotten after. And your last opponents in the month of December have been the mighty Cleveland Browns, the mighty Indianapolis Colts, and the Chargers have some. But again, the Chargers are beating you with Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnston and Stone Smart. Like, again, look at the players that you faced in the month of December when you've been the 31st ranked defense. Jerry Jeudy has beaten you.
Oh,
right?
that one hurts.
And you won, so people maybe kind of lose that in the mix, but you haven't been looking good defensively in a month. It's time to change that, and the time is now, or else you won't have any more time to change it.
I love what you said, man, and you're 100% spot on, and it's crazy to think this. The two biggest pieces Saturday, it's not Bo Nix, it's not Pat Surtain,
no,
it's not Riley Moss,
no,
it's Sean Payton and Vance Joseph. It's week 17, and we're unsure about the game plans for the two coaches that can control this thing. That's scary, dude.
It is scary. I will say this. I feel that Sean Payton got out-coached against Jim Harbaugh. I do not feel he will get out-coached against Zach Taylor.
I hope so.
He should not. Against Harbaugh is one thing.
Uh-huh.
Against Taylor is something completely different. You're getting out-coached by that guy, you got some problems, Mac.
I mean, doesn't Taylor is like, I combined him. He's like the next guy, right? Like, supposed to be this offensive genius. Now he's got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase to draw things up to. I'm sure I could figure something out with those guys, but he's supposed to be this, up-and-coming offensive genius.
Well, here's the thing.
That's what Sean was
And
once.
this is square biz. I told you guys about this, let's say a month ago. I was talking to my guys around the league. I was like, is Zach in trouble? And they're like, yeah, but the Bengals are so cheap, they'll keep him.
Oh, that's right.
So if you get beat by a coach that's literally on the hot seat, that literally could lose his job if the ownership wasn't so damn cheap in Cincinnati, you're going to get beat by a coach who's going to get fired in 2 weeks to go to the playoffs? Sean Payton, this is on you, bro.
Mm-hmm. This is a huge game for Sean Payton.
Oh, yeah.
This is an absolutely huge game.
Isn't it huge for the trust tree we always talk about?
Yeah.
Like, who's in the trust tree?
Yeah.
Chris Abrams-Drain has quickly earned our trust. Justin Strnad has completely left the trust tree. But it's kind of weird to think in week 17, Sean Payton, we'd be like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what kind of game plan? Is he going to stick with it? Like, I don't know.
He used to be the gatekeeper at the trust tree. Now he's on the other side. Feels very, very strange. One thing Bo Nix did talk about, which Sean obviously fits into this, is them responding to adversity. And the adversity is, well, you blew it against the Chargers. Now you're needing to beat the Bengals, who are desperate and dangerous to get into the postseason.
I think it's our ability to, not let one loss affect us. Don't let one team beat us twice. I think that's really important, especially in this league. You're going to play tough games. You're going to, lose tough games, and it's the response. I think that's critical, and especially for a team like ours who's young. We haven't made it to the playoffs in a while, and we have the ability to. So it's all about how we respond from the losses, and I think we've been able to do that well this year. So we got to, we experienced a loss last week. None of us are very excited about it, so we're excited to get back on the field, and it's just kind of that competitive mindset to where you knock us down, but we immediately want to get back up and go another round. So that's what we're looking at. We had a great practice today, very focused, very sharp, tough practice. So I expect us to respond in a good way, but I know they're going to play good themselves.
All right, and again, he's kind of given us some of the coach speak in that one, but he's right about the adversity. They haven't been great at responding to adversity. It hasn't been terrible either, but this is a big opportunity for Bo, the offense, Sean, and as you've mentioned, to add VJ, they certainly have to respond to the adversity that we saw a week ago.
Yeah, 1,000%. How do you adjust? It's not what you do, it's what you do after what happens to you. They're going to have a game plan for you. I heard the morning show talking about it. Shout out Mike Rice. Shout out John Davis.
They crushed it this morning.
And
nice
they
work,
said,
boys.
hey, what is Cincinnati radio saying about Denver? Like, who scares you? If we're doing Cincinnati radio, I still want to make fun of Cincinnati, but like, if we're doing Cincinnati radio right now, what are you saying about Bo Nix or Pat, stay away from Pat Surtain, but you can get the other guys. Like Riley Moss might play, and they were better with him. So if you kind of take that point of view, yeah, what are you scared of? If you're the Bengals, you can score on anybody. The Broncos defense has been 31st in the league. Mm-hmm. Just go outscore these guys.
Yeah, that might have been a conversation 4 weeks ago.
Sure.
Like, oh, man,
wow.
Can Jamar actually get by PS2? Can Joe and him beat that duo? And now you're like, yeah, hell yeah, they can beat that duo.
And then you have to question, and this is very sad based on how much we love him, Kev, did Jameis Winston break Vance Joseph? Did Jerry Jeudy
expose
Vance Joseph? right?
It was Jameis that broke VJ. Was that the month ago? That was the game, right? Yeah, Jerry Jeudy.
December 2nd. Monday Night Football.
I don't want that to be the case. Jameis was just out there.
Post that thing.
That's all he was doing the whole time, man.
So, guys, real quick.
The guy that got benched